The main reason I revised the anthropology website was to make it more compatible with smartphones and tablets. The old website, if you resize the screen, the web page itself did not resize, and you'd have to scroll horizontally and zoom in to see anything on a smartphone. This website, in contrast, when you reduce the size, the content resizes nicely, so it should all be easily visible on a smartphone. The second reason was to better advertise our research. So you can see the main page here has book covers by our faculty. It has our programs, our major and our graduate programs here. And it also has some of the latest publications of our faculty down at the bottom. And if you refresh the web page, new book covers come up, new publications come up. So every time anybody visits the website, they'll get a new selection of the latest research in our faculty. The website itself is organized hierarchically, so this is the home page and everything occurs under there. So all these pages occur under the home page. So if we click on the Bachelor of Arts, you can see it sits under the home page. The same with the graduate program, bioanthropology lab. These are some external links. And then people, that also sits under the main home page. But if we look at individuals, we can see that, for example, they may have a bunch of field sites or projects or courses, and these pages occur under the faculty site. So if we went to this website, we can see that it sits under Barry, Barry is under people, people is under hub. So the whole website is organized in that way. In addition, the search function has been improved. So if we search for Garfield, for example, we'll see Zach and Melissa's pages here. But the search function also pulls up the latest publications that have Garfield in them. And it can also search title words. So if we look for drugs, it brings up pages having to do with my drug research and also all my publications having to do with drug research. And then we can have carousels like this, so we can display a number of photographs of our field sites or research projects. What I'd like to do now is show you how to log in and edit your pages. So simply append admin to the end of the home page here. And if you've forgotten your password or haven't gotten one yet, you just enter your WSU ID here and then click that. It'll ask for your WSU email address, enter that, and it will mail you a link to reset your password. Okay, so I sign in, and what you'll see is mostly, but not entirely, things that are only related to you. You won't see most of the stuff that belongs to other faculty. There are a couple exceptions that I'll mention in a moment. If you click on Pages here, up in the green bar, this is your main page, and we'll look at that for a minute. But these are all the pages that occur under my page. We can sort by type here. So I have all my course pages. Those occur under my page. I have my field site. That occurs under my page. And I have a number of research project pages that also occur under my page. So first what we'll do is edit my page. So we click Edit button. And notice these tabs up here. There's a Content tab, a Media Carousel tab, a Publications tab, and then these two other tabs. These last two tabs, Promote and Settings, you typically wouldn't need to change. You can fill in your title here, and then also in addition to that, and by title I just mean your full name, and then your first name, last name, campus. If you're a graduate student that happens to be on a different campus, you could fill in those other campuses. Office. You can either put a single headshot here, or as I'll show you in a moment, you can also put a series of pictures if you'd rather have a carousel. Put your degree. If you're a grad student, put PhD or MA student, or if you're a professor, whatever your position is, put that here. If you're a grad student, you can click here and select your advisor. You can click which streams you belong to. You can click any of those that apply. And then you can enter in information for the biographical sketch. your research interests, research statement. If you want to display a field site map, click here, and then if you do have a field site under your page, it will display it if you have it. And then for folks who have graduated, we can put in the date of your terminal degree and you'll show up in our former graduate student list. This is pretty, I think, self-explanatory how to use these rich text editors for the biographical sketch and the research statement. Now, if you do want a media carousel, then don't put a headshot here. Instead, you can add multiple images here, and those images will then display as a carousel at the top of your page. You enter publications here, go all the way to the bottom, and it says Add Publications, and I'll just kind of give you an example. Pick the type of publication. If it's a book cover, it'd be nice to put up an image for that cover to display. Enter in your author names, year, the title of the thing, and so forth. If you do have a PDF, you can upload it here, and I want to show you something about that. If you do upload a new PDF, let's see, it's not showing here. So you can look through collections. So images and PDFs belong to collections, and this is the one exception where the website does not restrict you to the material that only belongs to you. So I would upload stuff to the Hagen collection. Somebody else would obviously pick Hasser-Hewlett or whatever. It's not going to really screw things up if you forget to do that, but you might have a harder time finding your stuff if you don't. Come back to that a little bit in a moment. Now you don't click your name here, but if there's a co-author, so for example, I have publications co-authored with Zach, or I might have ones with Barry, and let's say in the past, let's say Zach as well, or Casey, or Adam, let's say. I'd click both of those, and then the publication will automatically show up on those other person's things. But you don't click your own name here. If this publication is part of one of your research projects, select the research project here, and then this publication will automatically show up on the research project page. So I'm not going to do that. After you've made all your changes, you can save a draft if you're not ready to publish them, and it'll save it. Or you can publish. This will publish your whole page. We're probably not going to deal with moderation, but if we did have a moderated section where you had, let's say, students entering stuff for you, but you wanted to check it before it was published, you could have them submit for moderation. You can also unpublish. So rather than delete things, I strongly recommend you simply unpublish them, and they won't appear on the website, but they will be available if you decide you want to edit them or republish them, something like that. So I will click Publish, and this will publish any changes that I've made to the page. Now these are the pages that occur underneath. Those are called child pages. If I wanted to add a new page, I could add a new course, a new field site, or a new research project. I've already added several of those. And notice the plus sign over here. If you wanted, you could create rather deep websites where you had pages, number of pages nested under, let's say, if I wanted to have a whole website on my work on depression, I could add additional pages underneath this page and develop a rather complex site. Or if I decide I don't want this on the website anymore, I can unpublish it, but remember, don't delete it. So this is a typical research project page, and let me actually show you a different one here. So I think this one has some images, and we can do image carousels here, or images for the research projects. They're done a little differently. We use this plus sign. So rather than we don't have a separate tab for the carousel. We only have that on your personal page. But if you want to have a carousel on a research project page or a field site page, click this little plus sign. Then you can enter in a number of things. You can enter in a single image, as I've done here, or an image carousel, or a paragraph of text. And you can have multiple. These are called a stream field, and these are blocks. You can actually embed a video if you have a YouTube video. And you can insert as many of these as you want, and these occur as blocks on the page, and then you can organize them, move them up and down on the page. And this actually works a little bit better than the rich text. You can also do this within the rich text to a certain extent. You could embed a video this way instead, but I recommend that you use this block method if it's applicable. So you can have a paragraph block, which gives you one of these rich text blocks, or an image block, and you can have, again, I want to emphasize multiple of those. And then when you're done, and then if you want this project to show up automatically on your page, click this button. If there's other people associated with the project, don't click your name here, but click their names. If there's a field site associated with this project, click it here. So I'll click Chinimpi, because this is, and then I'll publish that. And then if we went to the Chinimpi site and we view it live, we can see that here is our image carousel, and here is the field site that shows up, and the associated, and I'll show you how to edit that in a minute. So if we come back here and we want to edit the Chinimpi site, we can enter a bunch of these image carousels, as I've done here. Then I have the text, I want it on my page. And then down here, click on a location, and it gives you a map widget that you can then enter in the location of a new field site. So let me publish that. Now courses, that's the last thing I want to talk about here. So let's say this is a course. I might add a new course, let's say. So let's say I want to add a new course site. I could say new course. And it's in the ANT department, so enter ANT, enter the number, Then there's this block interface, so you can enter paragraphs. And here in the course, you might want to have a number of PDFs, you might want to have images, you can put in videos if you want, you can have an image carousel, you can have blocks of paragraph, you can have headings. Mostly what you'll probably have are documents. So you'll choose a document, and again, if you have put in your collection, you can find your stuff easily. Here's all my things. You might upload a new one. You can do that here, put in a title for it, but be sure to add it to your collection. Then the key thing here, and I'm going to actually not save this one, is you can set the privacy settings on the courses, because typically here's our 160 course. So I'll go here. Notice up here it says private. And you can do this for any page, but I would recommend you do this for your course pages, especially if they have content that might belong to somebody else. You don't have rights to distribute, but you just want to give it to your class. Click on here, and you can make it public. Private, accessible to only logged in users. That won't be too useful, because that would only be people who have accounts on the system. And here's what you probably want. Private, accessible with the following password. So I have anth260 Hagen. I hand that password out to everybody in 260, and then they can get access to the course. So use that private button up there to make courses private. One final thing, when you're doing your images, let's say we have an image like this, which is oriented vertically, or let's say this one with these little girls really oriented vertically, and yet our images on our website are mostly laid out in a way that is meant to have horizontal images. So if we just display this image, it would probably display their arms, but nothing else. So what you can do is put in a focal area. You can see I've defined a focal area. I'll just do it again here, like this. And then the website will prioritize putting this material right in the center, and then save. And so that's a way, if your pictures aren't displaying properly, because they're vertical pictures instead of horizontal pictures, use that focal feature to adjust your photos so they hopefully show up a little better. You can also navigate to the different parts of your site using this navigation here. Here's the top page here. Here's all my courses and field sites and research projects under here. And if I click the pencil icon here, I can directly go and edit them. So it's another quick way to navigate. And you can also search the site for all kinds of stuff. So if I want to find my papers on drugs or research projects on drugs, I can just click here and find out what I've got. And that is it.